Esther, we've had about 15 minutes chatting in the green room. Hello. That you are, this girl's going to change the world. You really are. I mean, everything that you're involved in, and I hope you don't mind me saying already your age. At such a young age of 19, like you are laser focused. How are you doing?
I'm really well, thank you. I think today's just a bit of a breath of fresh air. I think the last 2 weeks has just been like really back to back, like trying to start new projects, kind of just get my head down. Uni's coming to an end, so just getting all my assignments out of the way. So
you're studying marketing just now.
Yeah.
You've got your football coaching that you do for Nottingham Forest, working with the academies.
Yeah.
And you've started and founded Effort Over Environment.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about that project firstly, please?
Effort Over Environment. So it's also known as EOE, which are my initials, Esther Elias. And I founded that when I was 16, off the back of the FA had a programme called the FA Leadership Academy, where we had to develop a project. So initially I was going to do a tournament or just a one-off event. But then I realised there were so many gaps within like women's football, especially for girls within London. So I said, you know what, why not create an environment and a culture that I was lucky enough to experience once while I was at a Kicks programme. So Effort Environment, our aim is to showcase, engage and inspire inner city girls and minority girls who aspire to work within the industry. And I feel not a lot of organisations do it already, if not none, but tapping into the social media side of it, telling the girls' stories and actually addressing the intersectionality of minority and inner city girls that play football or want to coach.
Can I ask you, just talking there about Michelle Ejimang's goal for the Lionesses last night, when it was the Euros and there was the comments that had come from the back pages of some of the papers, it was focusing on the Euros final and how white the team was.
Yeah.
Is that a prime example of how you have to get into inner city and make sure those from minority backgrounds have a place to flourish?
I think it's quite systemic looking at it from just more so, I think for me, it's mainly a socio-economic problem and the barriers from grassroots to academy. So what was previous was you had to live 90 minutes within the training centre to play for the academy. So a girl from South East London has no chance of playing for Arsenal if her parents don't drive, one, because she doesn't have that 90-minute proximity from, well, live within the 90-minute catchment area. But I think diversifying it is deeper than just getting girls from black backgrounds or Southeast Asian backgrounds onto the platform. It's more about tapping into the grassroots communities. I think, for me, I think Michelle's a great example of girls from minority groups kind of flourishing, and she's been at Arsenal's academy previously. So a lot of my knowledge, some of the girls at my foundation, well, referred to as the foundation, Effort of Environment, currently play for Arsenal. So for them, they can see a girl who's been in their position currently and who's thriving on the pitch as well. So it's also inspiration for them. And then it also just gives coaches and like people within the recruitment system an opportunity to know that, okay, Michelle's a great example of what happens when we kind of get the girls from young into our academies.
And that's the thing about disparity and the lack of equality. When you go to, say, grassroots level, and you might have a young black player from outside that 90-minute travel distance, they won't be selected because of purely where they live. Now, if you're a young boy, they will pick you up. They will make sure that you are chauffeured to and from. So the opportunity is different, you know, so it's changing that now, and I know it will not happen overnight, but I think it's important to focus that a girl will not get it yet, but a boy will.
Because I think I've had the joys of also working within, so when I was 16, I was coaching at an under-16 talent ID centre, so we basically facilitated boys and we had a live game where scouts will come down and basically hopefully give them a scholarship. So with the under-16s, they're getting the opportunity to travel across the country and be facilitated with like digs and accommodations, and they're getting paid not getting paid, but they're getting supported financially to travel across the country to trial for different clubs. Whereas with the girls under 16, you're not even classed as, obviously you're not a professional player, but there's a lack of opportunity for under 16s. And I think it's been great to see that progression of the PGA and kind of giving girls an opportunity to kind of actually be professional within the game. But a lot of girls are still having to go to school full-time, play football part-time, and actually sometimes work a part-time job. So you're balancing all three of those, and you have to support yourself financially, because how else are you going to pay for your travel costs to get to and from training? And then you also have to balance your education, because it's quite pivotal and vital, because we already know that the pandemic was like the ACL. So I think women and girls have a lot more pressure aside from playing on the pitch. And I think that's why it's quite difficult sometimes for a lot of girls, especially from inner city backgrounds, to kind of get their head down and say, do you know what, I really want to pursue football long term, because there's just so much uncertainty that comes with it.
You can see then why around about age 15, 16, they go, actually, I now need to focus on my exams. I need to get to work. I need to do all of those things. And that can often then, do you think of the talent, the pools of talent that are kind of gone unnoticed, kind of thing, because they've got to knuckle down. Whereas from a young age, just being a boy, simply you'll be, oh no, we'll take care of you, you know. And I've got twins, you know, boy and girl, and I look at where they've come from. Do you know what I mean? And I'm like, just because you're a boy, opportunity could have been so different for you. You know, could be so different for you. It's a very, very interesting thing, and I can talk about it till I'm blue in the face, but it's very negative, isn't it? What feedback are you getting on EOE? Are you seeing a number of girls coming forward and appreciating the support? Are you getting a lot of positive feedback?
So when I first started EOE, I was working with predominantly 16 to 18. So I was 16 at the time. So it was kind of girls that I knew and their friends. But then how it's kind of grown now is we've gotten a lot of attraction from younger players. So our youngest member now is 8 years old and our oldest is 22. So we kind of work that age bracket. And the work I do with my younger group, so I've got 2 girls that are 8 and I've got quite a few 12-year-olds. But it's more so just being there physically and being present at their games. So I have a player, she's 8, her first season playing football. She had a trial with Arsenal. So at 7 a.m, not 7 actually, it was 6 a.m, left my house, went with her and her mum to the trial, went to train, and just having that support I think goes such a long way. So unfortunately she didn't get into Arsenal, but she did get into Crystal Palace. And for me it's the resilience to know that even if I don't get into one, I've got someone who's going to support me through the ups and the downs. And then with the older girls, it's more so just around, I'll say slightly mentorships. Obviously, I've got one of the girls, she joined when she was 16. She's currently playing professionally. So obviously she's way better than me. But just also, we previously ran a mentorship program in January, and I was quite intentional about making it quite close in age. So it was for our 14 to 16 participants, partnered with some of our older members and like some of my friends that were in the industry. So we had coaching, we had playing, and we had sports media. And I think what was really important within the age gaps is to let the girls know that it's never too early to start. And I think that's something that I've been really grateful to myself, really, that I started early, because I'm still making so many mistakes. When it came to registering the organisation, it was like, it's gone from being a hobby and a passion and a career to actually now I'm on company's house, and it's like, okay, what does this all mean? Like taxes, and I was like, oh, this is a lot. So kind of understanding like how to navigate it. So we're currently registered as a limited company, but we're a social enterprise. So when it came to applying for funding, that was something I found really, really difficult. So yeah, I've had a lot of ups and downs when it comes to funding, and currently we're still not funded, but now I'm looking to get more partnerships and collaborations to kind of fund the projects that we run.